Nobody likes to hear negativity or complaining, but they do want to hear and are attracted to authenticity. If you're someone who has had multiple job changes in your career, and increasingly this is really important for someone who's had a lot of job changes, say more than every 3 to 5 years or so for a permanent employee, could be considered a lot. And it is common, but it's very important to be able to explain that in the right way, because the bigger the company that you're applying for, the more they're going to care about your career stability. And the more that any frequent job changes could be a red flag. So it's really important just to note down the reason for that. And, first be honest with yourself here as to the reason for leaving, and then try to make it more positive in a way that you would want to hear if you were the interviewer. What you might find is that if the reasons are negative, like, oh, I didn't like my boss, or I was fired, or um, or perhaps it's something that's out of your control, like there was a merger and acquisition or layoffs company-wide or something like that, then just first be honest about that. Then look at that and think, am I comfortable with this? And if it is something that could cause a red flag, let's say you were fired. Let's say your performance wasn't good, and that's something that you don't want to talk about. It's natural to feel that way. Or it could be that, a new boss came in, you really didn't like him or her. And it can be uncomfortable to share that because it can sound like complaining. So anything that has a negative context to it, or it that could come across as complaining in any way, or that you don't feel comfortable about, first, honestly, write it down on paper and then reflect on how you could put that in a positive way. And it's always good to be honest. Of course, you want to be able to present these in a way that lines up to the position you're applying for and demonstrates an optimistic and mature attitude. And, in some cases, admitting that you've misjudged a situation or could have handled it better can actually score you points in the interview by showing that you're comfortable with yourself, you're willing to make mistakes and admit them, and then reflect on what you would do better next time, because we're all human. And surely the interviewer has made mistakes in their life too. So first be honest, then consider how transparent you are comfortable to be about that and how you can put that reason into a positive light. Now, it may be that there's no negative context to it at all, and there are reasons that are out of your control, or there are reasons that are perfectly natural. Like, wow, I was in the company for 4 years and I couldn't see my next step in the company. I had applied for a few things, but it seemed like the company itself wasn't, if anything, attracting. So I decided to start looking around, and I just so happened to find this. And this really attracts me because da 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 da. So you really want the positives or the pull factors, what is attracting you to the next company, to outweigh the negatives of why you're leaving. There are always going to be push factors as well. You just want to be aware of anything that's negative or complaining in any way, and then catch that by being honest with yourself here on the paper and turn it into a positive. Again, reviewing this with a career coach or even a friend or your spouse or partner could be good as well, because nobody likes to hear negativity or complaining, but they do want to hear and are attracted to authenticity. So this is to help you create an inventory of those reasons, first being honest with yourself, and then reviewing how you can make that authentic and positive as to what is attracting you to the next job.